Hi, guys. Thanks for joining. This is Essence of Life. Today, we're talking about how we see the world. I'm Amanda Armagost.
And I'm Dr. Abbasi for Essence.
So, I love these series, the more philosophical series. I always choose a question. And today, the question I'm choosing is, can we ever achieve true happiness? Have we done that before?
We have done something similar in one of our other podcasts, but it's always an interesting topic.
Okay. I can start because this is my question and it's pretty easy for me to answer because I am a very happy person overall. I wake up happy, and my first thought is actually like, what do I get to do today? So I think, yes, we can achieve true happiness if you choose to. If you set your mind to that, then you can. Of course, everyone has very terrible circumstances that happen to them in their life, and most of these circumstances are uncontrollable. But our perspective of them is controllable, and our emotions are controllable. One thing that I like to say is that your emotions are your responsibility. So, for example, if you're having a bad day, you aren't really justified to take that out on other people just because it's your bad day. I think that as humans, as adults, we have the responsibility to understand our own emotions and understand how they're impacting us so they can impact other people less. Do you know? Did you hear me?
I did hear you. I'm not sure what response I should give it at what level. Um, Obviously, you can be you and I, we are going to differ a little on this subject because I'm looking at it as a scientific level. We are a combination of our um, many different system in our brain. That is, as a scientist, as a neurosurgeon, I believe who we are. We are the part of us is our history. Part of what us is our hormones. Part of what is our experience. Part of us is our memory, and so on. But um, I think that's probably simplified to say you just in charge of that. I think very few people in human history are able to truly master that thing, that everything that is I'm in control, like the Buddhist who sat on the street and burned himself with no sign of pain, or these gurus that achieve enlightenment. We talked about that before. um, for most of regular people, and it is an environment, in the interaction with the environment, that keep them functioning. That and in reality, I see that the subject to be way more complex.
Of course, every subject is complex, but that's why you need to take tiny steps. If you look at building a house, you're going to be overwhelmed. If you look at laying the foundation, putting up the framing, you know what I mean, step by step, it's going to be a lot less overwhelming and seem a lot less complex than if you are looking at the entire thing. For example, the example that I gave, I wake up happy and I think, what do I get to do today? I'm
Hmm.
not thinking like, great, I have to go to work. After work, I have to empty the garbage. And after that, I have to do all this stuff. I'm actually very excited to come home from work and clean my house. A lot of people complain about that. I'm very excited to do my chores that I have because it's something that I'm doing for myself. I'm lucky that I can even do that myself. I'm lucky I have time to do it. Not everyone can. I'm lucky I know how. I'm lucky I know that I should do it. So, like, these are things that maybe someone would think of as a burden, but you can choose to think of them as good. And I think that small steps like that can make you achieve true happiness.
Hmm. Well, happiness at the end of the day is a chemical reaction in your brain. And this is what neuroscientists have found out. We talked about that experiment that they put electrode in monkey's brain, and they can give, they have the choice to go to one side of the room or give themselves electrical stimulation to their brain, or go to the other end to get food, and they starve all to death because They prefer that electrical stimulation in the brain because that is for them true happiness. So you see that word happiness all of a sudden becomes meaningless when those monkeys they give themselves electrical stimulation and they die. They starve to death.
But did they die happy?
I
What do
don't,
you always say? What do
I
you're
don't know.
arguing?
I wasn't in the brain, but obviously they would prefer that. Like a dose of cocaine or heroin obviously can give a temporary happiness to a person as well. See, if you look at it as a not esoteric, but at the real life situation, at the end of the day, what keep you going in your brain, that chemical balance, is what the true happiness is. Now, does that happiness though has other external influence on in your life, in your body, and so on? Well, in the moment people take heroin or cocaine, they are very happy. Just the consequence of that temporary happiness is that make them a bad thing or in the eyes of our society. Okay, like for a long time, if you take a hit of a cannabis for a long time, you're a danger to society. Even though we know now it's not that dangerous, even though we know it makes people happy, make the pain go away, and so on and so forth. You see, um, this is not a one-dimensional thing that you decide to be happy and you're just happy, and the external factor plays no role. Now, yes, let me give you an example. Just in the or in our other meeting, I was talking about something personal that I feel that like I'm all you can eat buffet for lots of people, and I have the feeling um, that almost everybody I interact, I give them more, and it's, quite frankly, sometimes I'm being taken advantage of. It made me angry for a long time, and now I have come to peace with that. That this is just the way it is. Like I don't want to go and now sue that person and that person and this and that and so on. I just keep move forward and just accept part of my growth is being taken advantage of. Then I have to work harder. I have to work like 14 hours and then go and cook dinner for people I care about and make their life better, not talk to them about all the things I go through, and just always take time for them and fit my schedule around their schedule. It is just of and then even my children, I have to work around. I make their life possible, but I still have to work my schedule, and my schedule is to work for their schedule. Being able to come to peace with that and not be angry all the time, that is what makes I think that's a talent to be able to do that.
Oh,
To
it is a talent and it takes a lot of work and like I said, steps. It's not something that you just one day you're like, I'm done with this. This is my new thing. It takes a lot of effort, but it's a choice that you made.
Yeah, well, it is a choice to make, but sometimes it can be extremely tiresome. It can be extremely tiresome that it's a continuous work that you have to work on, and very few people really appreciate. Like there is a movie I really really love that movie. I forgot what that movie is, but I think it might be even Harold and Kumar. It's funny that anything philosophical comes out of that movie, but I think the premise of the comedy is that this guy get thrown into a jail, and in the jail there is a big black uh, gay African American guy sitting there reading a book, and he's so at peace. And this guy says, "Why did you get arrested?" Say, I was on the side of the street, and the cop just came and arrested me for no reason." And he asked him, "Why are you so calm? How are you so at peace with that? Why are you not angry?" And the guy says, "I'm a fat, gay, black guy. This is just my life." And I've come to peace with that. That's really interesting piece that I got that if you are that person, your life is about just getting beaten up and being taken advantage of, and being able to come at peace with that. I think that is that the life is not just always good to you. Like it's not. See, I can't just go back and talk to about old philosophers. I always have to go thousands of years back. It was in the last day of Socrates by Plato. Plato. Plato says in a conversation, fictional conversation with Socrates, that they talking about bravery. Who is brave? It is just a word, but how we have to define a word by situation. Talk about situation that makes a person brave. To truly come to the essence of that word, because each attribute has essence. Now, is somebody going to the war? Is that a brave guy who walks into death? He might be somebody who doesn't know the consequence of dying. He might be just a stupid person, or he might be a vengeful person. He might be somebody who's depressed. He want to die. Is that guy brave? Now, what makes that guy brave is if that person is fearful of death. He loves his life. He has family to take care of, and he loves them, and they love him. Yet, knowing all the consequence of that, fearing the death still, he knows that there's a higher meaning for him to go to war and sacrifice himself for a higher cause. That is what makes him brave, not the ignorance of the consequence of his action, not his anger, not of his depression and so on. You see, and same with the happiness. No, is no different. Now, um, just waking up in the morning and be happy, um, that the status of the mind. But is that happiness?
Yeah, it's happiness because I worked for this. I used to be on antidepressant medication. This is a choice that I've made. So, yeah, it is happiness.
Mm-hmm. Well, then this is the happiness that you define for yourself. And I think other people are allowed to define the happiness for themselves in a different way. And that is a very acceptable choice to individualize individual the description of what's brave for you, what's happiness for you, what is being in a certain status of mind for each person individually. But this is, I think, this is not a universal. There's no universal answer for that.
The question was, can we achieve true happiness? The question wasn't the definition of happiness.
Well, the question is, can we achieve happiness? There's always a way and chance to achieve happiness or any status of mind. But as well, if you want to go that route, I can as well say, can we become a serial murders? Yes, we all can become a serial murders. We all can become happy. We all can be enlightened, or we can all go become a politician. There's always the yes. The answer is always yes.
Right. And that was my answer. Yes.
Yes.
Like, for
I
example,
agree with you on that. I agree with you on that.
like someone that I know is constantly in a victim mindset. For example, one time they were driving into their parking garage and someone was parked out a little bit too far. I don't remember what happened, but that person hit the parked car and then got mad because that person was in the way and they should not have had their parked car there.
Okay.
When the thing is, it's like, you're choosing to be upset right now. You should be upset at yourself. If that were me, I would be upset at myself. I would move on. But instead, that person decided to be a victim about it. They're so mad at this person. They should have not parked their car. They actually went, yelled at the person, even. So That's what I'm saying. Your emotions are your choice. They're your responsibility. She chose to be mad at him. She
Mhm.
wasn't comfortable to be mad at herself.
Now, I'm happy you say that story because I just want to make sure this story is not about me.
No, it's not about you. It's about a girl.
Okay, well, and yes, you can take the high route and say you should be mad about yourself. You shouldn't be mad at all at that person. You're just venting out to that person.
And but that's not the high, in my eyes, that is not the high route.
No,
That is
no,
the realist.
high route is just being in control of everything going on in your life and not reflecting all of that out to other people. That is a high route.
Yeah.
That is a high route, but um let's imagine that that fictional person, everything that has been going on in their life, the thing that they have to deal with, and uh, I think part of being human is to understand that you're not perfect. The life beats down on you, and not everybody is so lucky to have somebody who protect them. That is one of the things I miss about my childhood. I had a hard childhood, but I was protected. I had a father and a mother who did take care of me, and um, and that is something that when I look back and I see um how much protection I got from my father, that now I'm in the world, I'm providing it, I'm not getting it anymore. Okay, so um now let's say that fictional person that it just got mad, just they're blocking somebody else's way and they get mad at them and so on. Certainly it's almost like ridiculous. Why would any rational person would do that? Now putting that person in the same level with somebody who, let's say, have a um, protected life, somebody who has um, that doesn't have to go through the daily struggle of life. Now you put them both at the same place, you give them same amount of stress, expecting them to react the same way. I think that is not how life really is. Okay, now you put somebody who has lost their job, their father is have been abusing them. They they don't know how to get the money for the next rent. They and then you put another person who's protected. They have a protected life. They're loved. They're in an environment. They don't have to be worried about many things. You put them at the same amount of stress and expecting them to behave the same way. It is like expecting everybody pay $70,000 for the college. Doesn't matter if your father is a grocery worker or if your father is a neurosurgeon. You expect them to pay the same amount of tuition because you say it's the same university, it's the same education. You have to pay the same amount. Expecting that becomes unrealistic. So I'm not defending that you go, if you have a minor accident, go out and yell at people, but as well give them a break. What are they else going in their life through that makes
Yeah.
in that moment behave that way?
Well, what's going in the life of the person you just crashed into? You crashed into them.
I totally get that. I totally
What's
get that.
I don't think humans are justified to take their, like, this person, let's call her Barbie. Barbie crashed into Ken's car. Maybe Ken got fired that day. Does Barbie get to yell at Ken
Hmm.
because Barbie hit Ken's car?
Hmm. Well, this is since we are talking about this fictional situation that Barbie hits Ken's car. What did Barbie do to Ken the day before? Or Ken
Barbie and Ken
Barbie?
don't know each other.
Oh,
Barbie's driving and Ken
oh
was
yeah,
parked and Barbie hit Ken's car.
yeah.
Barbie yelled at Ken.
Well, there are rules of engagement there. I think we all agree on that. Generally, you're not allowed to take things on other people. I think we can agree on that. And if you choose to be just the angry person and take your your emotional on random people, I think we can agree on that, that never goes the right direction for nobody.
No, it's not justified.
Yeah, I agree. We can agree. I think you and I, we can agree on that. Yeah. But so what that means is for your best, for your own happiness, come to the old rule of Dr. Phil, who, by the way, has to disclose always that he's not a licensed psychologist because he lost his psychology license. But he said something I think is worth repeating. You can, in your emotional state, you always think you are right. In the moment you go and yell at that other guy who you just hit, emotionally you think you are right. But analyze the situation. And in that moment, I think it's a good advice from Dr. Phil. Do you want to be happy or do you want it to be right? Because you cannot have both. You cannot be happy and right on the same situation. And on both sides, that's how arguments start. That's how wars start. On both sides, when the argument, the fight, the war starts, on both sides, everybody thinks they are right.
I'm glad you know that quote for two reasons, but the main one is that you just agreed with my response that happiness is a choice. So thank you.
Yeah, that is, you have to make that choice, but there is, but it is not. No, where we don't agree with is that you can just wake up in the morning, you just decide to be happy. It's hard work to wake up and decide to be happy.
I know, and I did that, and I do it every day. It's a conscious effort. Sometimes I don't want to do my day. I'm telling you, sometimes I really don't, but I'm choosing to be happy.
Good, that is achievement. I think you should make classes to teach that to other people how, and it's possible. How to and wake up and decide to be happy no matter what's going on in your life.
It's called
I'm not
reframing your mind.
I'm not there. I can tell you right now, and there are very few people there.
Well, they like in psychology, they pretty much say, however old you are, if you want to make a serious change in your mindset, you need to divide your age by half, and that's how long it's going to take you to get to that. Like
Oh,
at what?
divide your age in half and add 7. That's another rule. That's very similar rule, right?
Like Adler's School of Psychology, for example, if where he pretty much thinks like if you're yelling at someone, you're yelling at them because you're insecure and you're trying to assert your power over them to make you feel better.
Okay, what about, is it always like that? Is it
That's Adler's School of Psychology. And he says that if you want to have that mindset, you need to divide your age in half, and then that's how long it'll take you to get there.
okay.
Like, for instance, for me, I've been working on this since I was 16. I've been seriously thinking about my mindset since I was 16. So I have 10 years of experience thinking about that.
Okay. Well, I think we should wrap this up. Because I think this is a very philosophical conversation. We could go on and on, but I think that we agree is at the end of the day, everything is a choice, except the death. Even taxes are a choice. I know people say there's only the two things you have to pay tax and die, but I don't. I believe only dying is a must. Everything else is a choice. But
Right. Jail is a choice. You can pay tax or go to jail. What do you prefer?
yeah, well, what I'm saying, it's always a choice.
Right.
So
It is.
yeah,
I talk with my friends. There's times I think I would choose jail over certain things. So,
like going to war, huh?
oh, if they tried sending me to war, they should actually say, please go to jail. Like, just go to jail. Don't even pretend that you're going to go to war. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching. This was Essence of Life. And today we talked about can you reach true happiness? I'm Amanda Armagost.
And I'm Dr. Abbasi for Essence. This was probably one of our weirdest episodes.